day to you all. This is Creative Works by Annie, and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be working on the cross. I wrote this pattern in 2025 in the spring, just because I thought the world kind of needed it. So there wasn't really one out there too much like this, and so I thought I'd blend my style with this wonderful piece. So as you can see, there is some raised pieces here to give it a little more depth and creativity. So this is going to be a three-part piece where we're going to be working on the center cross, the body. That's going to be the first part. And then in part 2, we're going to be working on the border. And part 3 is how to block this so we get nice crisp edges and that wonderful, wonderful look. This is a great piece for framing because it's just the perfect size for an 8 by 10, which you can see I have one right here. It's in black, of course, so yeah. But you can see it works great in a frame. So you can give this away or keep it for yourself, and it's a wonderful little unique creative piece. So this in September of 2025, I was asked about this piece if they could use it in the TV show Elsbeth for the 3rd season. I've been watching, I haven't spotted it yet, but I thought, let's just bring it to the world, okay? And then that way, when you do see it, you can let me know, and you can work on this by watching the video. It'll be great. Or you can say, as seen on TV, right here. Okay, so keep your eye out for it. It's Elsbeth, Season 3. So this pattern is called The Cross. You can find it on my Ravelry and Etsy page, and just like all my other patterns, they're $2.99, so it's quite affordable. If you're here and you didn't buy the pattern and you wish to support my channel, like, subscribe, and you can always buy the pattern and then print it out and keep it in your files. So let's see what kind of materials we need today. What I use is my favorite, which is the classic crochet thread, size 10 from Red Heart. And you can use any color you want, any brand you want. I happen to like the natural or the ecru because it's just softer and it's wonderful to work with. And it's great for all my patterns and designs. But you can actually use different kinds of thread, different kind of yarn for any of my patterns. So what we're going to need is a handy dandy tape measure, because at the beginning we're going to take a little bit of thread and cutting it out just so that way we can have a little bit for when we make the arm. Okay, we're going to need a pencil to jot down any notes if you are following the pattern. I'm going to be using a little knitting needle as a pointer to help out, show you different things. I'm also working with a size 5. Mine is a Boyd. It's a vintage one, so it's got some good wear and tear on it. But it's great because these ones, they're steel ones, and it's wonderful. So they don't bend. I'm also using just a regular needle with a little bit bigger head, so that I think this one's a cross stitch needle, because that works best for the threads. You can tuck it in all the tails, because we're going to have quite a few tails on this. So stay tuned. We are going to work on this wonderful piece, and we will get you started. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to take about 1 foot or just over 1 foot of string. You can go a little bit longer if you want. It's okay. We generally need about 12 to 14 inches. If you want, you can take out a ruler and measure and stuff, but you can also just eyeball a piece of string and then set that aside. Okay? So we are going to start with just a regular slip knot. And we are going to chain 22. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Okay? These don't have to be perfect. You just want to make sure that you have a nice, kind of roughly even. If you've never done doilies before, I would suggest just playing with the string and doing some simple chain stitches till you get used to it. And then you can always work some double crochets in some stitches, some half doubles, single crochets, slip stitches, and just go through the wide range of stitches and just make a little swatch just for practice, okay? But if this isn't your first rodeo, let's just keep going. So in the 7th, chain from hook, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I then put my fingernail on the 8th one. So then I recount with my pinky here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I put a double crochet in that 7th. Now we're going to chain 2. I know, this is the hard part, doing this bottom row right here. Gives your fingers a workout. Okay, so then after we did our chain 2, we're going to skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and put a double crochet in the next one. Maybe. Believe it or not, I do believe that this one is one of the hardest rows to do. So I will tell you though that this will be the 3rd hardest part in the whole entire pattern. Okay, maybe 4th. We'll see. Okay, you can be the judge. You can put your ranking of them in the comments below. Okay, but I'm going to say this one's the 4th hardest in here. Okay, so we're going to chain 2 again, and we're going to skip another 2. Put a double crochet in the next one, chain 2, skip 2, put a DC in the next one, chain 2, skip 2, put a DC in the next one, chain 2, and then we're going to skip 2 and put a DC in the next one. Now we're going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to turn our piece over, and we're going to put our first DC in that first stitch right here. Going to chain 2, going to skip the chain space and put a DC in the DC, chain 2, I'm going to put a DC in the DC, chain 2, put a DC in the DC, chain 2, we're going to put a DC in the DC, chain 2, and we're going to skip 2 individual chains and put it in that 3rd one. Okay, and we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okie dokie here. Now we should have 6 little squares in here. I'll get my handy dandy knitting needle. It's the only time I use knitting needles. Makes it for a good, nice pointer. Should have 6 little spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 6 on the front, on the first row as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so let's move on to the next round. So after we do our chain 5, we're going to flip. We're going to put our first DC in that first DC stitch right there. This time we are going to do that one more time actually. 1, 2, put a stitch in the stitch, Now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I just got ready to do a double crochet. So we're going to skip this chain, skip this DC, and put our first DC, or next DC in this one right here. We're just going to chain 2, put a DC in the DC, chain 2, and put a DC in that third chain right there. We'll do our chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's review. So we did our chain 5, our DC in the first stitch there, chain 2, DC in the first or the next stitch, chain 5. We're going to skip this chain, skip the stitch, skip this chain, put a double crochet in this stitch. Going to chain 2, put a double crochet in this stitch. We're going to chain 2 and put a double crochet in that third stitch or third chain right there. Okay. Now we're going to flip it. We're going to put our DC in the first chain right here. Now we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to work a 3DC cluster. So a triple DC cluster. It's basically a cluster stitch. Okay, it's your standard clustered. So what we're going to do is we're going to be working in this long chain space right here. We're going to yarn over and act like we're going to start a double crochet. We're going to yarn over again, act like we're doing another double crochet. If it stays on my hook. We're going to yarn over, do another double, act like we're doing another double crochet. And now we should have 4 little loops on the hook there. And it looks like 3 little bottoms right there. We're going to yarn over again and pull through all of those little loops. Okay. We're going to slide this little guy over in there because we're going to be working in the same spot again. And so you'll be able to see another triple or 3DC cluster. So we're going to chain 1 because this is the little space in between. Then we're going to yarn over, act like we're doing a double crochet. Yarn over, act like we're doing another double crochet. Yarn over, and act like we're doing another double crochet. We have 4 on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those. Okay, and those are going to give us his little feet. We're now going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to skip this double crochet right here. We're going to skip this chain space. We're going to put a double crochet in this next stitch. We're going to chain 2. We're going to put a double crochet in that third one right there. We're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to review. We have our chain 5, double crochet in that first stitch, chain 4, skip the chain, skip the stitch. We're going to work a 3D cluster, chain 1, 3D cluster, chain 4. We're going to skip this stitch right here. We're going to skip the chain space. We're going to put our DC right on top of this double crochet. We're going to chain 2. We're going to put the next DC in the third chain in the corner. We're going to chain 5. Now we are going to flip it. We're going to put our first double crochet right in that first DC right there. Okay. Now we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so there's the way the pattern is written, and then I'm going to do it that way first, and then I'm going to show you the next, or the easier way to do it if you just can't figure that one out, okay? There's always an out if you think about it. So the way I have it written is you put a double crochet in the slip stitch right there. I just put it right in the middle, which sounds really gruesome if you think about the pattern we're working on. But I do a double crochet right there, and then the way that I have the pattern written, you yarn over and you work a back post double crochet on, yeah, there's sometimes when I do these videos, I'm thinking to myself, why the hell did you do that, girlfriend? Why? Okay, but it's all good. It's all good. So, but this will be the front, and you can see that there's a little band around his ankle, okay? So if you cannot do that way, I'm going to show you a easier way right here. So after you do your, because I'll review for you. But either way, you're going to put a chain one here, and you're going to, for the simpler way, you can put a double crochet and a double crochet, okay? So you can really choose which way you like it better. So this way I have it written is a double crochet in the stitch right here, and then I put a back post double crochet around the top of that. And this gives you like almost a rope effect, if you want to think of it that way. I guess we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of it. So if you want that look like his ankles were around the post, okay? I do have to be a little careful what I do say on YouTube here. And I might also offend some people, and I do apologize. It's just the simplest way I can explain things to work this pattern, okay? I am trying to be very respectful because I was raised as a non-practicing Catholic, so I do still have that ingrained in me, and I do think a lot of that is very beautiful, okay? The sentiment, the artistry of all the creations, the storytellings around Jesus and stuff like that. So I still do have that in me. So even though I am kind of I do fall in the atheist realm, I do still honor and respect. Okay? So please do not think I'm being disrespectful. I have my bone artistry, taxidermy way of explaining things, and then I have the crochet stitches and way of explaining things. And what if you actually look at the cross, you actually see. Okay? So no disrespect, please, 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 no disrespect. I love, honor, yes. Okay? It's one of the reasons why I created this pattern, because I thought it was needed in the crochet world, and I'm hoping that a lot of people do enjoy it. Okay, so now for the easier look is just 2 simple double crochets right on top of that stitch, okay? But I'm going to rip this out real quick, and I'm going to do it this way to show you one more time, okay? It's okay to take the little bit of an easy way out if you can't do things. Sometimes it's in the detail. Other times, if you don't think anybody's going to look, just take the easy route out. So right here, I do a chain 1. Then I'm going to put a double crochet right in here. Then I'm going to yarn over and work a back post double crochet. Never fun. And I know I have like 3, just kind of roll with it. Just kind of roll with it. Okay. So now he looks like he has rope around both ankles. Okay. So then we're going to chain 4. moving on. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put double crochet right into that next stitch there. And we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's review real quick. We had our chain 5. We skipped this little chain bit here, put a double crochet in that first stitch. Chain 4, skipping this chain space. If you go to the pattern, it's going to be, or go by the pattern, it's going to be a double crochet and then a back post double crochet around the top of that 3D cluster. We're going to chain 1, we're going to put a double crochet, and then we're going to put another back post double crochet right around the top of that. We're going to chain 4, put a double crochet right here, chain 2, and put a double crochet right in that third chain right there. And once again, remember, if you did it the easier way, you're going to do all this the same, and you're just putting 2 double crochets in there. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to put our first double crochet stitch right on top of that double crochet right there. We're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is the reason why it doesn't matter whether you do the back post version or the 2 double crochet versions. It's okay. We're going to chain 4, and we're going to actually do a DC decrease because we're actually now making the ankle. Okay. And we're going to chain 1. Let me speak that out loud right here. We're going to start your double crochet in the first stitch. You're going to yarn over. You're going to yarn and pull through those 2 loops. You're going to yarn over, go into the second stitch, pull up the loop, yarn over, go through 2. Now you should have 3 on the hook. Yarn over, go through, and you just made a decrease. I'm going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Skipping the chain space, double crochet in the next one. Chain 2. DC in the third chain there. I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do a quick review. We had our chain 5, double crocheted in the first stitch, chain 4, skipping this chain right here. We're going to do a DC decrease over the next 2 stitches, chain 1, DC decrease over the next 2 stitches, chain 4, double crochet into the stitch, chain 2, and double crochet in the third of this chain right here. Okay, and then we chain 5, and we are going to flip. Going to put a double crochet in the first stitch there. Going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Going to put a DC tog in this stitch right up here, which is a yarn over, DC tog in this next stitch right here, which means we yarn over, act like we're starting a double crochet, pull through the 2 loops, yarn over, act like we're starting a double crochet, yarn over, pull through 2, and then we're going to yarn over and pull through 3. Okay, going to chain 1, and we're going to do that right in the same, or the next stitch, sorry. We're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to skip the chain space and put a double crochet in the next stitch there, chain 2, putting a stitch in the third, maybe, if it lets me. And then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okie dokie. So just a quick review. So you have the chain 5. You're going to put a double crochet in top of the double crochet. Chain 4. You're going to skip this chain space and put a DC tog or a 2 DC tog in, which is also a 2 double crochet cluster. Now you know why I just say DC tog, because it's double crochet together. You can also say our little feet down here, you could say a 3DC tog or a 3DC together. Okay, there's many names for the same stitch. Just depends on where you're from, how you learned, what you adapted by one of your favorite patterns or video people you're crocheting with. So we're going to put a DC tog in this first stitch, chain 1, DC tog in the next stitch, chain 4, skipping the chain, double crochet into the stitch, chain 2, double crochet in the third little chain right there, okay? We're going to chain 5 and we're going to flip. We're basically repeating that last row. So double crochet, chain 4, DC tog in the stitch, chain 1, then DC tog in the stitch, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to DC in the stitch, chain 2, DC in the third one, going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now the next round's going to change a little bit, so we're going to flip it. We're going to put our double crochet in that first stitch right there. Now we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip this chain right here. We're going to put a 3D cluster, or like I said before, a 3D tog, if you want to go there. If you want to call it that way. 1, 2, 3, maybe one more. So we're going to yarn over, act like we're doing a double crochet, yarn over, act like we're starting a double crochet, yarn over, act like we're doing starting a double crochet. Should have 4 on the hook, yarn over, pull through. We're going to chain 1, and we're going to put another one of those right in the next stitch right there. So yarn over, act like we're starting a double crochet, yarn over, act like we're starting a double crochet, yarn over, act like we're starting a double crochet, yarn over, pull up through. Should have 4 on the hook, yarn over, pull through, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, double crochet in that third little loop there. And don't worry if your little loops look nice and neat or a little messed up. That we will fix in the border, so don't worry about it. Okay, so don't forget to chain your 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do a quick review. So we had our chain 5, DC in the first stitch, chain 4, skipping the chain, 3 DC cluster, chain 1, 3 DC cluster, chain 4, skipping this chain, double crochet in this next stitch, chain 2, and double crochet in the third chain right there. And don't forget to chain your 5. Okay, we're going to flip it. We're going to put our double crochet, once again in that first stitch. You might have noticed that we have a little, we're always DCing into that first one right there. We're going to chain 4, 1, 2, ooh, sorry, I didn't have it underlined. We're going to chain 3 this time. And we're chaining 3 because now our chain right here is going to get a little shorter, but we want this to stay square. Okay, we want it to be parallel to each other. We don't want them to go out. We don't want them to go in. We want them to be straight. Okay, so to do that, we have to take away one little chain right there. So after we put our double crochet in, we chain 3. And now we're going to put 2, yes, 2 DC togs in that one stitch. So act like we're doing a double crochet, act like we're doing a double crochet, pull up, get 3 on the hook, yarn over, go all the way through. Do that one more time in that same spot there. We're going to chain 1. We're going to do 2 double crochet DC togs in this next stitch. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, and then double crochet in that third chain right there, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's real quick. We had our chain 5, we double crocheted into the first stitch, we chained 3, we skipped this chain right here, we worked 2 double crochet or DC togs in this first stitch, we chained 1, 2 DC togs in this next stitch, chained 3, put a double crochet in this next stitch, chain 2, and a double crochet in that third one right there. Okay. Now we're going to flip it around. We're going to put our first double crochet right in the double crochet, chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to put a DC tog in each one of the next 2 stitches. We're working on the thighs right now. Okay, we're going to chain 1. We're going to put a DC tog in each one of the next 2 stitches. Going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, skipping the chain space, putting a double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, double crochet in the third one there, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's do a quick review. This, if you're following along on the written pattern, this is row 11. Woohoo! Okay, woohoo is because I flipped my thing. Okay, so we had our chain 5, double crochet in the first stitch, chain 3, skipping the chain, double DC tog in the first stitch, DC tog in the next stitch, chain 1, DC tog in the stitch, DC tog in the stitch, chain 3, DC tog, or we're going to skip this chain, DC tog in the stitch. I'm turning into a tongue twister here. Chain 2 and a double crochet in that third one right here. Okay, so we're going to flip it, and we are going to put our first DC once again right into that first stitch. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to skip the chain space, and we're going to work a 3DC cluster in this first stitch right here. This is going to be the upper part of the thigh. Okay, that was a 3. Now we're going to work a 2 DC tog right next to it. Going to chain 1. We're going to work a DC tog in this next stitch here. We're going to work a DC or a triple 3DC cluster right here, or a 3DC clog or cluster tog. Oh my Lord, I can't talk today. Yeah. Please let me talk. Okay, so we're going to 3DC cluster in here. Okay. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Put in a DC in the next one. Chain 2. Put in a DC in that third one again. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, or sorry, we're going to chain 5. 3, 4, 5. Okay. Let's review. So we had our chain 5. We double crocheted in the first stitch, chain 3, skip the chain space. We're going to put a 3DC cluster in this first stitch, a 2DC tog in this next stitch, chain 1, 2 DC tog in this next stitch, and then a 3 DC cluster in this next stitch. I'm going to chain 3, we're going to skip the chain space, DC in the stitch, chain 2, DC in the third chain right there. We're going to chain 5. Okay, now we're going to be starting row 13. Now you remember when I said, oh, this one right here is going to be the 4th hardest part. This is now going to be we'll say 3rd hardest part of the pattern. Okay, this general area, row 13 and 14, yeah, 15ish. Yeah, this is going to be the 2nd hardest or 3rd hardest, depending on how it goes for you. Okay, so we're going to flip that. We're going to put a double crochet in this first stitch here. Then we are going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to skip this chain space, and we're going to put a regular double crochet in this first stitch. Okay. Now we are going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I just want to tell you, if you start this section right here with me and you just don't get it, then all you have to do is, I would say, let me see how many stitches there. So remember, like I said, there's always an out. Now, if you can't get this part right here, I'm going to put it on the screen right now for the alternate. Jesus won't have a little waistcoat, making him a little on the modest side. But remember, I said there's always an out. So I'm going to look to the side of the screen right over here, whichever way. For the out, you're going to be putting a regular double crochet and a DC tog in this first stitch. Then you're going to put a DC tog in this next stitch, a double crochet in that chain right here. Then you're going to be putting a DC tog in this next stitch, and then a DC tog and a DC in this next stitch. Okay? But I would suggest first, try this. Okay? So we chained our 11, and we find our 4th chain from our hook. Okay? So then 1, 2, 3, 4. Count again. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put a double crochet right in that stitch. Now we're going to put a DC tog in the next stitch. So yarn over, put in, work our DC tog in that same. We're now going to put a double crochet in the next stitch. Going to put a DC tog in the next one. Just alternating those. Regular double crochet in the next one. DC tog in the next one. Double crochet in the next one. And I should have one little chain left. Okay? So in here, we're going to put a DC tog, chain 2, and a slip stitch, all in this one little chain right here. Okay? So we're going to work our DC tog first. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and that is going to help us bring our hook down for a little slip stitch. Okay? I pulled up my loop. I'm just going to pull through that. Okay? Let's review that little bit again. So we did our chain 11, DC in the 4th from the hook, a DC tog, DC, DC tog, DC, DC tog, DC, and then a DC tog, chain 2, and a slip stitch. Okay? Now we're going to put a DC tog in this stitch right here. If it lets me. DC tog. And then we're going to put a DC tog in the next stitch. We're going to put a double crochet right between right in that little chain space. We're going to put a DC tog in the next stitch. Now in this stitch, we're going to put a DC tog and a double crochet. We're going to start with our DC tog, and then our double crochet. Then we're going to do a chain 2. We're going to skip this chain space and put a double crochet in this next stitch. Chain 2. Put in a double crochet in that 3rd little chain there. Don't forget to chain your 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's do a quick review. We had our 5, we turned, and we did our DC in our first stitch here. Chain 2, skipping this stitch, or this chain space, we put a double crochet in this first stitch. We then chained 11, putting a first DC in the 4th from the chain, doing a DC tog, next one, double crochet in the next, DC tog in the next, DC in the next, DC tog, and then a DC. And then that last little chain we had left, we did a DC tog, a chain 2, and a slip stitch. We then, putting in this same stitch, that first stitch right here, we put a DC tog, and we put a DC tog in the next one, a double crochet in that chain space, a DC tog, and in this last stitch, a DC tog and a double crochet, chain 2, skip chain space, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, putting a DC in that 3rd chain right there. Okay. Oh, we didn't finish that one hard part like I told you. We're still going. We're still going. Okay, we're going to flip it now. And we're going to put our first DC in the first stitch there. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to find our first stitch of the row, which is right here. And we're going to bend this. And we're just going to bend it forward. This would be the wrong side of all these stitches. And you're going to bend it forward. Okay? So you're just going to take it, flip it. This is how it was. We flip it right down. Okay? So it crosses over. Okay? Now if you didn't do this right here, what you're going to be doing is putting a double crochet and then a 2 DC tog in each of the next 5. I will put that right here. And then in the last stitch, you're going to be putting a double crochet. But for those who prefer a little bit of modesty for him, we are going to put the cloth, the waist cloth, we're going to take this that we just made, bend it over, okay? And now we are going to find the first stitch right here. You have, do it right here. So you can see it a little bit better against the black. You have the chain that we used for the turning. You have the first stitch right here. So the first stitch would be right on top of that double crochet, okay? So we have our chain 2. We're going to work a double crochet in this stitch that I just showed you and this stitch right here. So we're going to yarn over. We're going to first put our hook through that stitch. Now we're going to carefully put our hook through that first stitch of that part, and we're going to work a double crochet. Okay, and now you are attached. So we're going to put his little cloth down in front, and you can see all of our stitches back here. We're going to work a DC tog in each of the next 5 stitches. Yes, there are 5 stitches there. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, now we're going to move this kind of to the side right here, and you can see this double crochet right here. It's just kind of hanging out all by its lonesome just before the chain right here. This is the same double crochet. After we made part of our waist cloth. So we're going to put a double crochet right in that stitch, okay? So you have all of your DC togs right here. Move this a little forward, and you're going to be able to see that stitch right there, okay? That double crochet. Pull that guy out right there. That's a double crochet. We need to make a stitch right there. This is also going to help his hips look a little more natural. Okay. Now we're going to do another one of those fun DC or the chain 11s. So we're going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're going to put a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So there's our hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put in a double crochet right there. The next one we're going to put a DC tog. And if you're wondering why I'm doing the alternate like that, it's to make it look a little thicker. It's for right here, the DC togs are used to help widen, whereas this is to help thicken it. Because if it was just all double crochets, he'd be playing peekaboo, and we don't want to do that. We're doing modesty for him. So then we have our double crochet, our DC tog, our double crochet, our DC tog, our double crochet, our DC tog, our double crochet, and that next one there. We should have one stitch, one little chain once again. So just like we did before on this part, we're going to put a DC tog, chain 2, and a slip stitch in this last chain right here. Okay, so we're going to put our DC tog, chain 2, and we're going to put our slip stitch, yep, I was right, slip stitch in that same space right there. Okay. Now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're just going to let that just kind of hang out. It's going to be in the breeze for a little bit. We're going to skip this chain space, and we're going to put a double crochet in this next stitch. Chain 2, put a double crochet in that next, or in that chain, that 3rd chain right there. Don't forget to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. We're going to do a quick review. We did our chain 5, double crochet in the chain right here. And if you are following the pattern, giving him a little modesty, we're going to be doing a double crochet in both the first double crochet of this loin cloth right here, as well as the stitch. That way they are joined. Then we're going to put a DC tog in each of the next 5 stitches. we're going to sneak in a double crochet right in that last stitch right there, just before the chain space, the one that we used to make this. Then after we do that double crochet, we're going to chain 11, working our first double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, and then doing a DC tog, DC, DC tog, DC, DC tog, DC, and then in that last stitch, a DC tog, chain 2, and a slip stitch. We're then going to chain 2, putting a double crochet in the stitch, chain 2, and a double crochet in the 3rd chain of our turning right there. Don't forget to chain 5. Okay, so this is still the second hard part, remember. So we are now going to flip it. And we're just going to ignore this for now, just kind of keep it to the back. We're going to put a double crochet in this next stitch right here. Same as what we've been doing. Now we're going to work a DC decrease over the next 2 stitches. Oops, sorry, I forgot we have to chain 2. Oh no, we're chaining 3. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Chain 3. We're going to skip the little chain space and skip the piece of the cloth there, folding it down, but out of our way. We're going to start our DC decrease in the first, get down near, in the first stitch, yarn over, go into the next stitch, pretend we're starting a double crochet, and pull through all 3. Now we're going to put a DC tog in the next stitch. Ooh, of course, it doesn't stick. Okay. Our DC decrease, we're going to put a DC tog in the next stitch. We're going to be doing a DC decrease over the next 2 stitches. We are now going to pull our chain, our little waist coat up right here, and we are going to find that first double crochet again, not the chain right here, but we're going to get that first stitch on top of that DC, okay? And we are now going to put a DC tog in this stitch right here, and then this stitch. So we're putting them together. We're going to start back here first. So we yarn over, put our hook through the stitch, going to put it through that stitch right there, yarn over, pull through the 2 stitches, and act like we're starting our DC tog, or our DC. Yarn over, do that one more time. This time it should be a little easier since you already established that little spot right there. Okay. Now we're going to put a double crochet in this next stitch. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, put a DC in the next stitch, chain 2, put a DC in the next stitch, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if you were not making the waistcoat, waist cloth. Sorry. Let me just go over with that real quick. So we did our turning DC in the first one, chain 3. We did a DC decrease, a DC tog, DC decrease, and a DC tog, and then a regular DC. Okay, and then we finished it with a chain 3, double crochet in the stitch, chain 2, double crochet in the stitch. Now for those who are following the pattern and made the waistcoat or the waistcloth, we did our chain 5, we turned, did our double crochet in the stitch, chain 3. Let me bend this forward a little bit there. We did our DC decrease. We're pinching the waist, going from the hips to the waistline. So his belly button's about right there, okay? So we did our DC decrease, our DC tog, DC decrease, DC tog. But when we did our DC tog, we also put it in the first stitch. Okay, so the first stitch, here's our turning chain. We put it in the first stitch. We did that together, so that way, that was our first one when we started our DC tog. And then we finished it off. Then we did our double crochet right in that next stitch right there. We chained 3, skipping the chain space, did our double crochet in the stitch, chain 2, double crochet in the chain, in the third chain, and don't forget to chain your 5. Now you know why that was on the hard list, right? Okay. We're still in it though. We're still in that hard part. Okay. Now we're going to flip it. We're going to put our first double crochet in that first stitch. Now we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. And if you did not make your little waistcoat right here, or your waistcloth right here, if you didn't make that, okay, in blocking, I would like it if you kind of manipulated it a little bit to give them a little more modesty. But if you didn't do the waistcoat, you're just going to... So if you're not doing the waistcoat or the waistcloth, okay, what you're going to do is you're going to put a double crochet in this first stitch. You're going to put a DC tog in the next stitch and a DC tog in the next stitch. Then you're going to put 2 DC togs in the next stitch, and you're going to put a DC tog in this one. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to end up with 6 stitches right here. So a regular DC, a DC tog, 2 DC togs, because now you're starting to build out the chest from the waist to the chest, and then a DC tog, okay? And then you just do your chain 3 and your DC right here, chain 2, and in the third, okay? But for those who are making him, showing some modesty, we're going to keep going. So we did our turning, our double crochet, we did a chain 3, and now we're going to put a double crochet in that first stitch. Okay, so now we're going to put a front post double, triple crochet. I know that was a mouthful, right? So what we're basically going to be doing is we're going to yarn over 3 times. Oh, sorry. Before we do that, we need to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to yarn over 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Actually, before we do that, let's identify the parts. You have this. We're going to be working in this double crochet right in this round. Okay. It's a double crochet in the, let's see, we're on round 16 is right here. This is round 15, round 14, so this is round 13. We're going to double crochet, we're going to make sure you highlight this one. If you want, you can always, once I get done explaining to you, it should be fine. But if you want to take your little stitch markers, you can go right ahead and do this too. You'd put one right there. Then we're going to find that chain that we skipped. Remember, we used the double crochet and we worked in the double crochet. We're going to find that chain that's just before that. That's going to be part of our stitch. And then we're going to do the same thing right here. And that's going to be part of our stitch. So this double crochet right here, this chain space, and this chain space. Those are all going to be part of this really weird front post double, triple crochet. Okay? And this is going to give us the look of the waistcloth tied and gathered. Okay? Because he's showing a little hip. So just to review again, we had our 5, double crocheted in the first stitch, chain 3, double crochet in the first stitch, or the next stitch, we chained 3. Now we're going to yarn over 3 times, 1, 2, 3. We're going to insert our hook right around that double crochet right there. We're going to yarn over, pull through, yarn over, and go through 2. We're now going to just yarn over, 2, yarn over, 2, yarn over, 2. Now we're going to do a regular front post triple, so that's just 2, and we're going to go around that chain. Okay, that chain right there in the loincloth. After we get our hook in there, we're going to yarn over, pull up another one, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're just going to put a front post double crochet in that next little chain space. Okay, yarn over, pull up 1, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. Whoo! Did you do it? Did you do it on the first try? Did you? Give me a thumbs up and a like if you made that on the first try. Let's do a quick review with that one. So we had our chain 3, which helps bring us down here. Okay, so then we yarned over 3 times, and we put our hook in this around this double crochet, and then we just kept working it like a regular stitch, regular triple type 1. Then we did our front post triple around the little chain space there. We worked that like a regular triple. Then we yarned over and we put our double crochet in this last one, and we made a regular double crochet. And now we have 1 loop on our hook after all of that. See that kind of, I don't know if you can see that really well. See if I can put my pencil through here. You can see that it looks really nice because it looks like the cloth is swooping up. Okay, now let's make the knot. So now what we're going to do is we are going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to take all 3 of these stitches right here, and we're going to put 2 single crochets around them. Okay, so we're kind of making those into 1. So 1 single crochet, and now 2. Okay, gives us a little weird knot look. Now we're going to pull out our loop just a little bit because we're going to take our hook out. And we're going to put our hook into this double crochet back here. Okay, that's that first stitch that we did on the body. Just put our crochet hook right through there. Now we're going to put this loop right back onto our hook, tighten it up a bit, and we're going to act like we're doing a slip stitch right through that double crochet. Whew. Okay. Now what we're going to do after we've finished our beautiful little knot right there, we're going to put a DC tog in this next stitch. We're going to put a DC tog in the next one. We're going to put 2 DC togs in the next stitch. Because remember, we're expanding the waist and going up to the chest. We're going to put a DC tog in that last stitch. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put a double crochet in this next stitch right here, chain 2, and put a double crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's do a quick little review. So we had our 5, and we put our first stitch into our stitch, chained 3, and then we put a double crochet in that first stitch. Then we yarned over 3 times, putting a front post or double triple crochet around this double crochet stitch right here. And we finished off our stitch. We then yarned over 3 times. Sorry, we yarned over twice to work a front post double crochet around the chain right here, and we finished working that. We then put a front post double crochet around this chain right here, and we finished working our double crochet. We then chained 4, which would help us not only give us this beautiful little loop look right here, but it also helps us put 2 double crochets around all 3 of those at once. Okay? And then we expanded our loop that was on our hook just a little bit, took our hook out, and we put it into the top of this double crochet. And then while this was on our hook, we put that loop back onto the hook, and we pulled it through like we were doing a slip stitch. Then we did a DC tog in the next stitch, DC tog in the next stitch, 2 DC togs in the next stitch, and then a DC tog in that final stitch. Okay? Now, if you got it, let me know, okay? Give me a thumbs up. Don't give me a thumbs down if you didn't get that on the first try. Don't give me a thumbs down. Just complain in the comments, okay? Say, whoo! Those rows between row 13 and row 16, oh girl, ooh, yeah. Sometimes I want to smack myself too. So now we go back into a little bit more of an easy part for a little bit, okay? So we're going to flip our piece. We're going to double crochet in that first stitch just like we did before. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to put a double crochet or a DC tog in each one of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. We're going to work 2 DC tog in the next stitch. 1, 2, and then a DC tog in each of the next 2 stitches. 1, 2, we're going to skip the knot we had right here and this double crochet. We did all that on, okay? We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and we're going to skip this chain space as well, and we're going to put a DC in this next stitch. 1, 2, and then don't forget your 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so if you didn't do the waistcoat, you're going to have a little extra stitch right there. So what you're going to do is just work this and skip it, same as we did. Okay. So just to review, we had our 5, we turned, we did our double crochet there, chained 2 because we're working back out. We skipped the chain space. We did a DC tog, 2 DC togs, DC tog, and a DC tog. Okay. So what we're going to do is we already have 5 on our hook. We're going to keep adding to that. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So you're going to make a chain of 18. And now if you wanted to use a stitch marker, and because we're going to need to take out our hook, you can put a stitch marker right here if you don't trust yourself in not pulling that apart, or you can just leave it like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our scrap piece that we had, and we're going to start like we're making a chain right here. Okay. And so then what we're going to do with put our stitch in the slip stitch without even turning it, we're going to put it in that third. So 1, 2, 3, and we're going to make our slip stitch right in there. Okay. Now we have this piece attached to our main body, and we're going to chain 17. We need 15 of those stitches, but if we chain 17, we're able to we're gonna we're gonna chain 17. We only need 15 of those, but if we chain 17, we're gonna be able to fasten that off and pull it to make our little finishing knot, and we're still going to have the 15 chains that we need. So now we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I'm just going to pull that last one through, and I'm going to pull it just a little bit just to make that knot. And since I have this big long tail, I'm just going to cut it down just about halfway. You can leave it long if you want, because we're going to be tucking that in a little bit later. Okay, so those two tails are just going to hang out and just kind of roll with the punches for now. Okay. We are now going to put our hook back into the loop that we dropped. Just kind of untwist it here. And we are going to flip it. We're going to now put a double crochet in the 7th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to put my nail over the 8th one and recount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Come on, baby, get back in there. We're going to chain 2. We're going to skip 2. Oop, come on. We're going to skip 2 stitches. 1, 2, and put a double crochet in the next one. Chain 2, skip 2, put a DC in the next one, chain 2, skip 2, put a double crochet in the next one, chain 2, and we should have 2 chains left. We might be a little twisted here. I have 2 chains left, so my next stitch is going to be right on top of here. So you should have 5. Hold that down real quick. You should have 5 little spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Can you see where we're going here? We're making the arms going out. So now we're going to chain 2, 1, 2. We're going to skip the chain space. Put another double crochet in the next stitch here. And we're going to We're now going to skip this chain space right here, and then in the next stitch, which is this one right here, we're going to put a double crochet or 2 DC and a DC tog. Okay. So 2 DC, 1, 2, and a DC tog. Now we're going to put a double crochet in the next stitch, a DC tog in each of the next 2, a DC, a double crochet, a regular double crochet in the next stitch, and then in this last stitch we're going to put a 2 DC tog and 2 regular double crochets. We're now going to skip this chain space and we're going to put a DC right in this next stitch. We're going to chain 2, 1, 2, and in the same place that we put our joining right here, we're going to put a double crochet. We're going to chain 2, and if you want to, you can kind of crochet over this to help you tuck it in, or you can just let it be. It's all good. I'm just going to let mine hang and deal with a lot of tails later on. There's some patterns I tuck in my tails as I go, and then there's some patterns that it's easier to tuck them in later. This is one of the patterns that it's easier to tuck them in later. Okay? So we're going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2. This might be a little hard because you might have to twist. Okay? But you're going to skip 2, 1, 2, put a double crochet in the next one, chain 2, skip 2 stitches, double crochet in the next one, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in the next, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in the next, chain 2, and then double crochet in the last chain. And then chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And let's review. Do this to hold this little guy down because he just doesn't want to stay flat right now. So, did I not flip it? So let's review. We did our chain 5, and we put our, we had our chain right here. We put a double crochet in the 4th chain. We put our first double crochet in the 7th chain from the hook. We chain 2, skip 2 chains, put a double crochet in the next, chain 2, skip 2 chains, put a double crochet in the next, chain 2, skip 2, put a double crochet in the next, chain 2, and we should be even to put our next double crochet right in the stitch there. We chained 2, and we skipped the chain space, and we put a double crochet in that next stitch. I'm just going to set that right there. So then we'd put our 2 double crochets. Let me double check here so I make sure I tell you correctly. We put our 2 double crochets and our DC tog in this next stitch. We then put a double crochet in the next stitch. We put a DC tog in each one of the next 2 stitches. We put a regular double crochet. And then in this last stitch, we put a DC tog and 2 double crochets. We skipped this chain space right here, and we put a DC in the next stitch. We chain 2 and put a double crochet right where we did our joining right there of this strand. Okay, Then we chain 2, skip 2 chain stitches, put a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 chain stitches, put a double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 chain stitches, double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet. You should have the same equal amount on both sides. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay? So don't forget to chain your 5 right there. And let's work up the next row 19. So we're going to put our first stitch in that double crochet there, chain 2, skip the chain space, double crochet, chain 2, skip chain space, double crochet, chain 2, skip the chain space, double crochet. We're going to chain 2. We're going to skip the chain and put another double crochet right there. We're going to chain 2, and now here comes the fun part. We're going to put a double crochet in this first stitch right here. Then we are going to put a DC tog in the next one. A double crochet in the next, a DC tog in the next one, and a double crochet in the next. We're going to chain 1. We're going to skip this stitch. We will be using this stitch later, so if you want to mark it, feel free to do so. But for now, we're going to skip that, and we're going to put a double crochet in the next stitch. Over the next 2 stitches, we're going to do a decrease. So we're going to yarn over, act like we're starting a double crochet in the first one, yarn over, act like we're starting a double crochet in the next one. We have 3 on the hook, yarn over, pull through. We're then going to put a double crochet in the next stitch here, and we're going to put a DC tog in that next one. Following that, we're just going to put a regular double crochet in the next one. Okay, and these give us like just underneath the neck, almost like the armpit area, the upper chest. Okay, this gives us the upper chest. So now we're just going to chain 2, skip the chain, DC in the next. We're going to keep doing that all the way across. The last one, we're going to chain 2 and put in that 3rd chain space right there. Don't forget to chain your 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let's review. Ooh, curling just a bit. We're just going to have a little assistance by the scissors right there. Okay, so we had our chain 5. We put our double crochet in the first stitch, chain 2, skip chain, DC, 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 chain 2, skip chain. And this is where we're going to put our double crochet in the first stitch, our DC tog in the next one. We're going to put a double crochet in the next one, a DC tog in the next, a regular double crochet in the next. We're going to chain 1, skip 1 stitch, put a double crochet in the next. We're going to work a DC decrease over the next 2 stitches. Then we're going to put a regular double crochet in the next, a DC tog in the next, and a double crochet in the next. We're going to chain 2, skip chain, DC, chain 2, skip chain, DC, chain 2, skip, DC, chain 2, skip, DC, chain 2, skip, DC, chain 2, and put a double crochet in that 3rd chain right there. And don't forget to chain 5. We are now on row 20. So we're going to flip it. And we're going to put our double crochet in that first stitch right there. Chain 2, skipping the chain, double crochet, chain 2, skip the chain, double crochet, chain 2, skip the chain, double crochet. You should have 4 spaces, 4 open spaces right there. Now we're gonna go into another little, well, this part's not difficult, but we're getting to another one. Just wait. I will have an alternate, but that's only for 1 row. So, yeah. Okay, so we're going to now chain 1, just 1, but we're going to skip this chain, we're going to skip this stitch, we're going to skip this chain, and we're going to work in this first stitch right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to put a triple crochet and 2 DC in this stitch. Don't forget your chain 1 right there, because that's going to help us bring that over. So try to keep it nice and tight. So after your triple, you put 2 double crochets in that same stitch. We're now going to put a double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to put a half double crochet. And then we're going to slip stitch into this next one. We're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to, in this stitch that we skipped right here, we're going to put 5 triple crochets. You heard me. In this one little itty bitty skip stitch, 5 triple crochets. One, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're now going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to bring this down, and we're going to look behind us here. So I'm just going to grab my little tool here. We're going to be skipping this stitch, skipping this chain space, and skipping this stitch. So our next stitch is right here. So we're going to skip 1 stitch, chain space, next stitch. We're going to be working right here, and we're going to put a slip stitch right there. If I can get oriented right here. Okay. Slip stitch. The next one, we're going to be putting a half double crochet in. Going to be putting a double crochet in the next one. The next stitch, we're going to be putting 2 double crochets and a triple. So 1 double, 2 double, and our triple. Chain 1. We're going to skip this chain space, skip this stitch, skip this chain space, and put a double crochet right into here. And we're going to work our way out by doing chain 2, skip chain, double crochet in the stitch, chain 2, skip chain, DC and stitch, chain 2, skip chain, DC, chain 2, and then put the last double crochet in that third chain. Don't forget your chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's do a review. You can see he has a little head right there. Later on, if you wanted to decorate or improve a little bit on this, whatever, if you wanted to take, say, a brown or a red, maybe purple, black, and just put like a little, just take like a scrap of thread, and you can just make a little bow right there, tie it around there, and add to it if you'd like. And just like when we do the crown of thorns, if you were wanted to really adapt it, you could use gold to make that crown of, or you could use brown to make the crown of thorns. Or if you're really in the mood for it and you want to play around a little bit, you can actually put beads in that crown, okay? But I'm just going to do it just like the pattern here. And if you didn't do this part, we're just gonna have you skip the crown altogether, okay? Because if you don't want to, you can kind of adapt. You can play with it. It's all good. So let's review row 20. You should have 5 spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we did our chain 5 turn. We did our DC in the first. Chain 2, skip, DC, chain 2, skip, DC, chain 2, skip, DC, chain 1, and then we're going to skip this chain, skip this stitch, skip this chain, and in this first stitch right here, we put a triple crochet and 2 double crochets. We then put a double crochet in the next stitch, a half double crochet in the next stitch, and a slip stitch in that next one. We then chained 4, and working in that little skipped stitch right here, we put 5 triple crochets, making his face. We then skipped the stitch, the chain space, and the stitch. And after we chained 4, we put a slip stitch in that next one, then a half double, a double crochet, and 2 doubles and a triple in that last stitch. We then chained 1, we skipped the chain, skipped the stitch, skipped the chain, put a double crochet, chain 2, skip chain, DC, chain 2, skip chain, DC, chain 2, skip chain, DC, chain 2, and put a double crochet in that third little spot right there. And we then chained 5 so we can do our turning. Okay, now we're getting into the, I'm questioning the one who wrote this pattern, me. So yeah, feel free to complain about some of my stitch choices, but I will say it makes it more 2D and come to life, okay? For some of you, you can insert jokes there. Otherwise, shame on you. Don't think that way. Okay, so after we did our turning, we're going to put our first double crochet right in here. We're now going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to skip this chain space right here, and we're going to put 4 DC cluster. So we've already done a 3, so now we're going to do a 4, and this is going to create his hand. So we yarn over, act like we're going to start a double crochet to that one, yarn over, act like we're going to do a double crochet, yarn over, act like we're going to do another double crochet, yarn over, and act like we're doing another double crochet. We should have 5 on the hook right there, so then we're going to yarn over and pull through all 5. And it gives us that little pretty little stitch right there. We are now going to skip this chain space and put a double crochet in this next stitch. We're going to work 2 half double crochets in this chain space. This is going to give us his, we're building up his arm right now. We're then going to put a double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to skip this chain space right here, this little single chain space. We're going to put a double crochet and a half double crochet in this next stitch. We're going to single crochet in the next one. Now we're going to slip stitch in this stitch and this stitch. So 1, 2, we're going to chain 2, and we're going to slip stitch into this next chain space right here. Okay, this one right here, we're going to slip stitch into that. Now we are going to chain another 2. We're going to do a 4 DC popcorn in this little chain space that we skipped right here. And in doing that, we're going to add a little bit of oomph to and back of his face to make his face pop out a little bit. If you want to leave it flat, you can. You can see that it's kind of flat, but once you boost it up just a little bit, you add that little bit of dimension, okay? So after we did our chain 2, we're going to put our 4 DC popcorn right here. So 4 double crochets, basically, that's how we start our popcorn stitch. Then we take our hook out, and you can either put it in the first one, or I just put it in that little chain space right there, my hook, scoop back up that, draw it through, do a slip stitch. Now I'm going to do chain 2, 1, 2, and I'm going to put a slip stitch in this chain right here. You can see just that little popcorn pops his head up just a bit, okay? And it kind of gives him that downward looking look that we're going for. We are now going to chain 2. We're going to skip this stitch right here, which is where the chain came from, and we're going to slip stitch into the next 2 stitches. 1, 2. We're going to single crochet in the next stitch, half double in the next, and we're going to double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to skip this little chain space. We're going to put a double crochet in it. We're going to put 2 half doubles in the chain space. We're going to put a double crochet in the next stitch. We're going to skip this chain space and put another 4 DC cluster in here. So we're going to yarn over, act like we're doing a double crochet, yarn over, act like we're doing another double, yarn over, act like we're doing another double, yarn over, and act like we're doing another. We should have 5 loops on the hook. Gonna yarn over and pull through all those. We are now going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, putting a double crochet in this stitch. I will review all that in just a moment. We're going to put our last double crochet in that third, like we did before. Don't forget to chain your 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then let's review. We did our chain 5 and turn, which is, we did a double crochet in the first stitch right there. We chained 4, skipping the chain space. We worked a 4 DC cluster in this next stitch. We skipped this chain right here, working a double crochet in the next one, 2 half double crochets in this chain space, a double crochet in this stitch, skipping this little chain space right here. We worked a, where am I here? We did a double crochet and a half double crochet. Then we did a single crochet in the next one. We slip stitched into each of the next 2 stitches. We chained 2, slip stitch around this chain right here. We then chained 2, working a 4 double crochet popcorn right in this little chain space that we skipped. We then closed that popcorn off, chained 2, and we put a slip stitch right on that chain right here. We then chained 2, slip stitch, slip stitch. Did we do 2 slip stitches? Yes, we did. Then we did a single crochet. a half double crochet, which is right here. Then we did our double crochet. We skipped this little chain space right here. We put a double crochet, 2 half doubles in the chain space, a double crochet. We skipped this chain space and we worked another 4 DC cluster in this stitch, chained 4, skip chain space, double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, and then we did a double crochet in the 3rd chain right here, and we chained 5. Okay, we're going to start this row 22. We have our chain 5. We're going to skip the first chain right there. We're going to DC in the next one, in the next stitch. We're going to chain 2. So this isn't going to look even, so don't worry about that, because the overall is going to look even. I know that doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. Promise me. I promise you it'll make sense. So after we chain 2, we put a double crochet in the chain space. We chain 2. Skipping this stitch, we put a double crochet in the next stitch. Chain 2. We're going to skip 1 stitch, putting the DC in the next one. Chain 2. We're going to skip 1 stitch, putting a double crochet in the next one. We're then going to chain 2. We're going to skip 1 stitch once again and put a stitch right there. You're going to be working, in that one, you're going to be working over the slip stitch. Okay, you can kind of see where I was going with this. I'm trying to line up my stitches here. Okay, you can see how they kind of line up. It's a trick of the eye for this one, okay? Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to put a front post DC right around this stitch. We're going to chain 2. And for those who are not going to do the crown, because you didn't do the loincloth or anything, if you want the crown, go for it. If you want to change colors for the crown or add beads to the crown, go for it, okay? But for those who don't want to do the crown, after you do your chain 2, you put a DC tog in the first stitch. You're going to do a decrease over the next 2 stitches, and then a DC tog in each one of the next 2 stitches. Okay? So then after that, you're going to chain 2, and then just hang on while I explain how to do the crown for the others. Okay? So after you do your chain 2 here, you're going, for those who are doing the crown, you put your DC tog in the next stitch, unless you drop the whole entire stitch. And you're going to start your crown. The crown is going to consist of 7 bumps. By how to create those bumps, we're doing kind of like an alternative picket or picot, picante, picard, whatever you like to call it. I just call them bumpity bump bumps. So, because it's just more fun. So we're making 7 bumpity bump bumps for his crown. So we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Maybe, kind of. 3. Thank you. Now we're going to put a single crochet in top of that stitch that we just made. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Putting single crochet in the top. 1, 2, 3. I just crocheted a cat hair in there. Put a single crochet in the top. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet in the single crochet there. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 more bumps. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet. 1, 2, 3. Single crochet. And now we're going to put a slip stitch right on top of this first stitch right here. That's going to close off our crown. unless I drop the stitch again. Oh my goodness. Okay. So now it's just we're gonna have that weird little crown loop right up there. Just let it hang out. So we're gonna do a DC decrease over the next 2 stitches. Gonna put a DC tog in each one of the next 2 stitches. Now, if you didn't do the crown and you are at this point, take your hook out and you're going to put your hook in this space and you're going to put the loop back on, kind of like you're making another popcorn stitch. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to close it and you're going to do 2 stitches. And you're going to move on in just a moment, okay? So that's basically what yours is going to look like. But for those of you who did the crown, I'll show you something fun. Fix my things here real quick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hook out, just like I did for the ones who didn't make the crown. And I'm going to put my hook in the second little bump in the center of it, okay? So this would be my single crochet, and this is my chain 3. So I'm right in between there. So I'm going to put my hook in there, and I'm going to take my loop and put my loop back on my hook and pull it through like I just did a slip stitch, okay? Just kind of pull it up a little bit, and now you can see it's right in the middle, right there. Now we're going to chain 2. We're going to put a front post DC around that chain 4, okay? We're going to chain 2, and we're going to skip 1 stitch, put a double crochet in the next. Chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, double crochet in the next, chain 2, skip 1 stitch, double crochet, chain 2, skip 2 stitches this time, double crochet, chain 2, skip the stitch, putting a double crochet in the chain space, chain 2, double crochet in the stitch, chain 2, I'll review in a moment, and a double crochet in this chain space or the 3rd chain. Don't forget your chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's do a review. And you'll see why some of those were skipped twice and some of them were not skipped twice. I will show you how to pin this, or how I pin it at the end of the video. Okay, or I might just make a separate video of how to pin this little guy. Because this might be a 3-parter, the center might be 1, and then the borders might be a 2nd, and then we'll do the pinning as a 3rd video. So we did our chain 5, we did our turn, double crochet in the 1st stitch right there. Because we want these to kind of line up. So we chain 2, double crochet in the chain space, which lines up with this one, chain 2, skipping 1 stitch, DC in the next stitch, and it lines up right here, chain 2, skipping 1, it lines up right here, chain 2, skip 1, it lines up right here, chain 2, skip 1, it lines up right here, chain 2, we're going to skip 2 stitches, we're going to front post around that chain 4. Did a chain 2, and we did our DC tog in the next stitch. We made our crown, which was our chain 3, single crochet in top of the last stitch, chain 3, single crochet, and so on. So you got 7 little bumps. We then worked a DC decrease over the next 2 stitches, a DC tog, and a DC tog. We then removed the hook or the loop from our hook for both of those who did the crown and did not do the crown. Then what we did was we acted for the non-crown people. We made it so that way it's almost like a popcorn stitch, okay? Where we put our hook in here, grabbed up the loop, pulled it through, and fastened it off by a slip stitch, or I mean a chain stitch, and then we chained 2 more stitches and we went around here. For those who did the crown, we pulled the loop off of our hook, put our hook in the second bump that we made, and then we put the loop back on it and we pulled that through, making a slip stitch. We then chained 2, front post DC around that chain 4 space, chain 2, skip 1 stitch, and then this one we put a DC in the next stitch and it matches this one. We chain 2, skip 2 stitches this time, this matches this one. We chained 2, skipped 1 stitch, put our DC in the next stitch, it made this one. Chain 2, skip 2 stitches, and it fits this one. Chain 2, double crochet in the chain space because it fits this, it matches this one. Chain 2, put a DC in the next one, goes with this. Chain 2 and put a DC in that third one, and that matches this one. So now we are going to flip and we're going to work row 23. This one's going to be easy. You don't have to worry about it. This one's nice and easy for you, okay? After all that, we kind of needed that, right? But like I said before, this was like the 4th hardest part, the little anklet type thing. Then we'll call this like the 3rd hardest. And then this might be the number 1 hardest part. So there's just one little hard part going on. So don't worry about it. If you came this far, you are golden. Golden, golden, golden. So we're going to flip it to the other side. We're going to put a DC in that first stitch right there. Chain 2, skip the chain space, DC, chain 2, skip chain space, DC, chain 2, skip chain, DC, chain 2, skip chain, DC, chain 2, skip chain, DC, chain 2, we're going to skip the chain, put a DC in there. Now you have 2 choices right here. You can do how I have it written in the pattern and just chain 5, skipping all this and putting it right here. But if you want to secure your crown a little bit more, you can always chain 2, put a double crochet right in the center there where we did our loop, chain 2, and then put it right here. Oops. Oh, come on, my hands don't want to work. Oh, okay, it does not want me to do this, to show you the alternative. Okay, so by doing that, it kind of just holds that in place a little bit more if you want to, okay? But how the pattern is, because sometimes it's easier just to skip that whole mess right there. So you chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, skipping all of this, working a double crochet in this next stitch, and also this mirrors this part right here. This is the reason why this little space right here was made, because it mirrors this spot. Okay? Then we chain 2, DC in the next stitch. We keep doing that all the way to the end. Then we get to the end, going to do something a little different. So just work your way to the end. Doing our chain 2 and then our DC in that chain 3 spot right there. Instead of chain 5 this time, we're just going to chain our 2 and we're going to fasten off. Okay, so now lay it down on a flat surface. This is the important part, so we don't get lost. Okay. So we did our, just to review, round 23. We did our chain 5 when we did our turn. We did our DC in the stitch, chain 2, skip, DC, chain 2, skip, chain, DC. And we did that all the way down till we got to the crown. You can either chain 2 and then put a DC right in the middle there, and then chain 2 and continue on your stitches, or you can do it like I have in the pattern, and you can chain 5, which then mirrors right here, open below, open above, as below as above, as above as below. Then you can skip all this, and you can put a double crochet in the next stitch, chain 2, double crochet in the stitch, chain 2, skip, DC, chain 2, skip, DC, all the way to the end, fastening off. Now, keep it flat like this. Do not move it. What we're going to do is we're going to attach another piece of the thread that we just cut off. We're going to attach it right here. See, this is where it lines up right here. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces, and we're going to attach it right here. Now it's important that you attach it to the back side, okay? Because otherwise the rest of the rows, you're going to be kind of working backwards. And we don't want to work backwards. Because then we're not paying attention to the I mean, it works out, but then you can't really follow the pattern. You kind of have to go and try to figure it out. So we're not going to do that. We're just going to leave it flat right where we fastened off. And we're going to attach it. Same side here. So we make our slip stitch. We put our hook in the correct spot here. Remember, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. And it's the DC that lines up right here. It's the stitch that lines up. We put our hook in, grab our slip stitch, pull it tight, and yes, it gives us another tail. So now we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to put a double crochet in the stitch, chain 2, double crochet in the stitch, chain 2. If you did the stitch right there, put the next DC in the stitch. Otherwise, put your double crochet in the chain space, chain 2, double crochet in the stitch, chain 2, double crochet in the stitch, chain 2, and double crochet in the stitch. You should have, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's lay it down real quick so we can see. So we should have 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like we did on the bottom right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, we're nice and even, so we can make our cross. So now after we got the 5, we're going to flip it, and we're going to put our DC in the first stitch, chain 2, DC, chain 2. We're going to work all the way across right there till we get to the end. We're just kind of finishing the look. To that third, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Flip it. Going to do one more row exactly like that. Which I didn't make that tight, so work your way across, just same as before. Remember, you should have 6 spaces. And put your last double crochet in this last one here. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is going to be the last row, okay? So we're going to Put a DC in the next one. It's the same as the last couple of rows. We'll review in just a moment. I would call this piece and say my postmortem pieces or my till death piece or some other of my pieces, I would call, if it's like a fillet, I would call it more of a sculpted fillet instead of a traditional fillet piece, because you are doing, a regular fillet is DC and chain stitches. Some of them might be DC tog stitches. But for the most part, it's basically just chains and double crochets. So these are more like a sculpted fillet. I'm going to coin that phrase, sculpted fillets. So to review what we just did, we did our turning, DC'd in the stitch, chain 2, skip, DC, chain 2, skip, DC. We did that, so we did that across, so we have 6 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we have 4 of those rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So even though, so this number right here should be the same as your bottom. You should have 6 right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, same as over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So I think that's where we're going to end this video, and go in the description below, or if you're following the playlist, it should be next in the playlist. Otherwise, go into the description below and click on the link for the border rounds. Okie dokie.